eChai and Legal, we are starting this open accelerator. So today is like a kickoff. So what we want to do basically is there are a lot of early stage founders who attend a lot of our in-person meetups, and one of the constant feedback that we get at eChai is that they would want to go deeper into the content, and they are not able to attend all the events that we do host. So that's why we thought, what if we do something online where we can bring people from all the cities together, and at the same time open up much more deeper conversations. So the theme for today would be around building your founding team, finding co-founders. And I see a lot of people who are registered on the website, they are looking for a co-founder. So this could be an interesting opportunity where you get to learn something and at the same time find your potential co-founders. Another thing we will do as we move ahead is that there are a lot of proposed sessions. So you can pick up the things that you really want to learn or you want to get better at. You register for that, or you let us know individually also what kind of things you may find valuable. And for those proposed sessions, we could have those 8 people only. So not every session we want so many people attending it, like you would see in our in-person meetups, but we could do a lot of things with 8 people, 10 people, and we can just go live with them. So today what we want to do, there are 3 parts for today's discussion. The first part is Yash has prepared a fantastic presentation around framework for identifying co-founder. And the second part would be, we have a lot of amazing founders from the community from all different cities of India coming and sharing their personal stories about how they found their co-founders, what they tried, what worked for them, what didn't work for them. And in the second, towards the last piece, what we want to do is that if you're looking for a community, if you're looking for a potential co-founder, you may go like we'll bring you on stage. You then talk about it, and more people may discover it. At the same time, everything is listed on the eChai website also. So with this, we'll just get started. I'll also bring Srijay, from whose office I'm actually going live. So thank you so much, Srijay. Srijay, tell us about Legal Vision, why we are doing this, and then we'll get started with the presentation from you.
Absolutely. So thank you everyone for joining the webinar. So when we were discussing, about this webinar session or the Open Accelerator at a larger concept, we thought that there is a lot of help that takes venture from, when they have achieved certain things and then they want to kind of progress from there. But there is a lot of lack of resources around 0 to 1 or -1 to 0, right? So somebody who wishes to be an entrepreneur and would want to become one, and how to, or somebody who has just become an entrepreneur in their first year and a half journey, and they want to scale from there. So we wanted to curate a lot of content around there, and obviously thanks to Jatin and eChai, there is a brilliant set of community where people have already hustled through that journey. And so as part of this, LegalViz joining hands with eChai, we wanted to bring all of these friends. Yash definitely at Momentum One is sort of a poster boy in that category, and so we wanted to bring a lot of these people who have hustled through their journeys. They can share their experiences, and with that 0 to 1 journey becomes very easy. So with that, we may want to start today's session, and Jatin or Yash, you would want to pick up from there.
Okay. Before Yes begins, we have this chat. You can ask any question that you may want to ask us for this particular topic. Probably we can also bring you on stage also. So probably you can also speak up. And probably you will have to be on desktop to be able to speak up. Or Yash can tell us that and how the system functions, because he understands the systems really well. And we'll just get started then. And we'll have a lot of amazing founders joining in. And do tell us in the chat, there are a lot of other folks who are also there. You can introduce yourself in the chat, tell us what you are looking for, ask a question. We'll monitor that chat, and we'll bring some of you on stage also. So with this, we'll just get started with Yash's presentation. Yes, the stage is yours, the screen is yours.
Awesome, man. Are you guys able to see the presentation?
I'm
Yes.
able to see it.
Yeah. So we have a lot of yeses in the chat also, so which is good to know. Awesome. So thank you everyone for joining in. And today, essentially, we wanted to start a conversation around building a stellar sort of a founding team, right? So very early stages, and so this is a scenario where you have come across an insight or an opportunity of building something and doing something exciting, and you're looking for we like-minded people who are in similar stages or similar sort of journey, for you to sort of lead and grow and take, right. And so, um, so the next thing, a little bit about me. I'm one of the co-founders, and chief executive at Momentum 91, where we help enterprises move their digital initiatives forward. I did mechanical engineering, worked as an investment banker, got a couple of awards. Previously, I was co-founder at ClientJoy, which got acquired by a US-based company called SignUp. I love playing cricket as well. And Shijay, if there are any challenges, if you're not able to hear me, or you can,
I think it's all great. Maybe if you can just be a little louder, or is that only my speaker?
no, I think I got disconnected and connected to the wrong mic, so I think we should be okay now.
Okay.
So my audio better now?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. So, um, a little bit about Momentum. As I shared with you, we help enterprises move their digital initiatives forward. These initiatives are across three components. First is where they are looking to build an MVP or a POC. Second is they're looking to implement a large platform of software, which could be Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, or something to that effect. And third is where they are looking to do digital transformation, where they are wanting to transform from whatever processes that are manual currently to and moving that to completely digital. Right. So that's a little bit about me, my background. The reason why I do this introduction is yeah. Sorry, Shirin.
Sorry, we are getting the comments that the audio is breaking. So
Okay,
maybe you can
one
let's see
second.
if
Let me
that
let me
works.
change the audio. I think that will make things easier. I think. Okay, is my audio better now?
Yeah, that's much better,
Significantly better. Okay, so
and maybe a little louder, I guess.
yeah. I think I do that. I do that. Got it. Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, so that's a little bit of introduction about me, about Momentum, and the idea largely is of giving this introduction is so that whatever I'm about to say, you have the context of why am I saying whatever I'm saying, right? Because all journeys are very unique and different. And so all the insights that I have received are essentially based on the that I've had. So the first piece that we want to look at is journey of finding a co-founder. My idea of having this conversation is that we'll start with the assumption that you need a co-founder. So we can probably take up a question later in the Q&A where under what circumstances do you need a co-founder, or do you absolutely need a co-founder to raise capital or to build out a great company, single founder versus multiple founders and pros and cons. All of those things we could maybe take up in the Q&A a little later. But for the purpose of this presentation, let's assume that you absolutely need a co-founder. And then the journey is divided into three parts, right? So when you're looking for them, when you find someone, when you find a couple of prospects, and then the experience of like actually signing contracts and engaging and agreeing and then taking things forward, right? So those are the three pieces that we'll largely be talking. So the first is at the time when you're actually looking for a co-founder, right? So when you're looking for a co-founder, you might want to think about the first thing is be open to joining someone else, right? So just the idea that good opportunities can occur to anyone, you shouldn't ignore that. And so these opportunities can come about to other people as well. And so essentially what ends up happening is that while you are on your journey of looking for other co-founders, you might come across people who already have an idea, who already have an insight, who already have come across an opportunity, and they are also looking for a co-founder, right? And so at that point of time, when you're mingling with other people who are at a similar stage like yours, you should also be open to joining someone else, right? So don't be completely like, don't close your mind on that as a possibility as well. The next piece is this is something that I cannot emphasize strongly enough, is don't look for people who are like yourself, right? So find people who possess complementary skill sets, find people who come from a little different sort of walk of life, and had a different background as well. It leads to disagreements and debates, which will bring to question some of the biases that we end up working with, right? So when we are starting a company is essentially like running a large experiment, right? And so when you're running an experiment, you want to make sure that your hypothesis is as clear as possible and your method of executing that experiment is as crisp as possible.
So, and the first thing that a scientist would do when they're running an experiment is they would try and get rid of all the biases. All of us are not scientists, and we don't understand the method of doing that. Most of us are don't make rational decisions day to day, and so having another person to bounce off of the ideas that you have, it'll essentially make sure that there's a filter or a barrier before you go ahead with your beliefs and start investing into an idea, right? The third piece is manage your expectations, right? So no one is a co-founder. Everyone grows into becoming one. I've seen a lot of folks who say that, hey, I'm a great coder. I can build a good product. Can I want my co-founder to be a marketing genius or like a growth genius or someone who can raise funds or something like that. And so do not expect that the problems that you have regarding your product or idea or the startup that you're running, the co-founder will come in, you'll give them like 10% equity and they'll solve all of those problems, right? We have a habit of thinking that we just want to like give someone something that and just outsource all of our problems, and that's not how it would actually end up working out, right? So do not expect that the co-founder will solve all the outstanding problems. They allow them the opportunity to learn and grow and evolve as well, and they need to get some time to get to build that context, right? So what are some of the top places to find your co-founder? The first one is luck, right? So you need to be extremely lucky to just run into a person that's good enough to become a co-founder, or your ex-colleagues or your relatives, friends, the college that you've been to. Make sure that you're part of as many hackathons as possible, as many events as possible. Make sure that you network with as many people as possible. Go to incubation centers. There are programs that are being run from a founder dating standpoint as well. And so here's some amount of reading material, right? So you can look at a couple of notes that Antler and Y Combinator and Founder University also have. We'll make the presentation, we'll make all of these assets available to you on a separate landing page as well after the event. So you'll have access to the slide and you'll be able to click through and go and read onto those links as well, right? So the other piece is so now let's move to the next part of the conversation, which is when you find an interesting prospect, right? So up until the time we were talking about what should be the qualities, where should I look for them, how should I think about it, and so on and so forth. Now let's talk about when you actually find a person that's interesting, and you believe that this may be something that can work out, right? And so the first, and this is something that I would strongly recommend, is understand what are your goals, right? So what are your goals together? There are some folks who want to build a business for legacy. There are some folks who want to build a business just for a better life, right? So the 100 million ARR person will be significantly more aggressive, will have significantly more risk taking ability, will have significantly higher capability of sacrifice, versus the 3 million ARR quality of life person will be much more conservative, will of course value the time that they get to spend with their family, and so on and so forth, right? So I would strongly recommend that, like, when you meet a prospect, understand what are their goals, and a lot of times we ourselves also don't have that understanding about our own goals, right? So we're just so focused on thinking about creating value for the market and building the product and recruiting our first team members and shipping the first version of the code as a like MVP or something like that we don't actually spend the time that you need to figure out what our own goals are, right? And so have that conversation. This is another important piece, right? So align your value systems. All of us come from different walks of life, and all of us have different sort of value systems that guide how we behave on a day-to-day basis, right? So all of us sort of are on a spectrum of gray, and so your shade of gray and like Shrija is the only other person I see on the screen. So Shrija's shade of gray, are they close enough, right? And so what are your non-negotiables? So and these are events that happen on a day-to-day basis when you're running a business, right? What happens if you're not able to pay a vendor on a committed timeline, right? What happens if you're not able to do salary? What are you comfortable making a promise that you have absolutely no idea how will you fulfill, right? At what point Do you become comfortable to make a promise to a client or make a promise to a team member, whatever the case may be, right? So what do you value more? Do you value outcomes more, or do you value intent more, right? And so just these conversations around what are your value systems, and believe you me, right? So people can acquire skills, people cannot change their character, right? So they'll not be able to change who they are. And this is this alignment. So alignment on goals and alignment on value systems is extremely important when you're looking for a co-founder. And when I say these things, I don't actually mean for you to I don't mean for you to like ask a question, right? So if Srijay and I were to be co-founder, I'm not going to ask Srijay, hey, how are you when it comes to lying, as an example, right? Lying, by the way, is something that you'll have to do far more often than you think. But how comfortable are you lying, right? But these are things that will, these are conclusions that you should start drafting from the conversations that you're having, right? Coming to the third piece, which is actually signing, something and making things official, right? And so when you get close to dotting the i's and crossing the t's of sorts, I'd recommend getting on the same page, right? So get on the same page about roles, responsibilities, goals, metrics. Don't be awkward over here. Be absolutely brutally clear that, hey, these are some of the things that I think I can handle. These are some of the things that you can handle. Here's how we will solve our difference of opinion, right? If I'm leading product and Srijay is leading if I'm leading product and Srijay is leading distribution or sales, if I have an idea about sales, to what extent can I push Srijay to implement it, right? And all sets or pairs of co-founders have different elasticity when it comes to accepting ideas or implementing ideas that other co-founders have. And so be clear about how you do it, right? So in our case, in case of Client Joy, and even in case of Momentum, we have two other co-founders. And so in those cases, the way that we have set it up is that if you are handling design, and so Kaushik is my co-founder who looks after, who's also our head of design. And so if Kaushik looks after design, then I can give inputs. I can give inputs saying that you should, recruit a team member, recruit this particular team member. This should be the compensation. This should be, how you should train them and stuff like that. However, ultimately the decision has to be his, right? And so both Jay and I have the right to make our cases as passionately as we want to, but ultimately, if it comes to the design and the delivery, it is his call, right? And so that's but this is our elasticity, and you and your co-founder pair could have a different elasticity, right? And while I'm speaking, I'm sure you must be seeing that there is a poll on the screen as well. Do take out the time and vote on the poll as well. This is great because it allows us to later make some amount of mix and match as well, right? So if we have people we know that are looking for a marketing co-founder within eChai community, also we have a lot of people who have the marketing ability, and we'd be able to mix and match you as well as a part of a founder dating sort of an initiative as well, right? The next piece is again fairly important. Execute a co-founders agreement, right? So please execute a co-founders agreement. It's important to. It's not necessarily important for you, but it's important for the company's future. And this is the time when you start thinking of the company as an entity that is separate from you, and you are only a trustee, or you are only a person who is making decisions on behalf of the organization, right? So it's like when you if you have a kid, right? So you're just making decisions on their behalf. It's still their life, right? And so so you want to make sure that you are protecting the company's future, and this is why I would also strongly recommend that bind all the co-founders. Doesn't matter whose idea it was, doesn't matter um, whose insight or opportunity it is. All the co-founders should agree to some sort of a vesting schedule, some sort of a cliff schedule, and treat shares in the company as compensation for the value that is being created by the founders, right? So the company will essentially say that, hey, so if Srijay and I were starting a company today, the company should say that, Srijay, great, Yash, great, you are creating a lot of value for me, for the company. I cannot afford to pay you all in cash, and so I'm going to pay you some shares, right? And just the way that I'm giving you, 20,000 rupees in salary every month, I'll also give you, let's say, 20 shares each month or something to that effect, right? So depending on the contribution that you're making. I'd also like to point out over here that LegalViz has a great documentation done around co-founders agreement, and so that is something that also once we build a landing page after this conversation, you will have access to a co-founder agreement template as well within that, right? Also, there's a poll. So are you looking for that? So that's a sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't read the question, but we already have it ready. So please look for it and vote for of course yes. I mean, who is it that is voting for yes? You should vote for of course yes. Right? So interesting. And then the last piece is for you to understand that this is going to be like marriage, right? If things go well, we're looking at least 10 years. It takes 10 years for you to build something that is genuinely of value for people. And Jatin and Shrija and I, at least I can speak for the three of us, that we've been doing this for more than 10 years, right? And so for value creation, it does take that much amount of time, and you should be able to have high level of intimacy and commitment and understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses and values, and so on and so forth. So I think I'll pause there a little bit. I hope this was helpful. Happy to take any questions, or we could do questions later. But yeah, so that's sort of some thoughts on finding a co-founder.
Okay, awesome, Yash. Sujay, we can bring some of the folks on stage from the audience, and around 7:10, will a lot of other founders joining in.
Absolutely. So let's do that.
Some of them who have asked the question, or probably there is a raise hand option also. You can raise your hand.
Yeah. So if you wanna, let's say, is
So meanwhile, when CJ does that, I wanted to ask Yash.
Sure.
Yes, you mentioned about the analogy of a co-founder and a marriage.
Yes.
Is this a personal experience, or like you observed and now you're coming up with this analogy?
So in my case, I was able to convert my co-foundership into a marriage also. So which is good. I don't have any more scope of doing that again for sure, of course. But yeah, so no. So it is personal experience a little bit as well. You need to make sure that you sort of align with the same principles, and sort of you want to also make sure that this is something that will go long term, right? So just the fact that you're interesting characters to each other, who like to talk with each other and spend some time, and like if not forced to work together, will you go out for drinks just like that, right? So like, do you have that sort of equation as well?
And yes, so one of the things, like we've been talking to a lot of founders. So they are looking for a tech co-founder, a marketing co-founder, and they have a certain persona in their mind, and ideally I'm looking for this. But the challenge happens, and when they go in the market, they discover sometimes you will not get the 100% right fit. So it becomes very challenging to tell the other person that I'm looking at you as a potential co-founder. As a founder, how do you help? What do you recommend that, and how do people navigate to that? That I'm looking for a tech co-founder. I'm meeting 10 people with different skill set. They may have a tech skill set, but I want to open up a conversation with them. Do I go and tell them that I'm looking for you to join my company, or what do you recommend? What do you recommend in that scenario?
So treat it exactly like the wanting to get married of sort. At some point, everyone wants to get married, but on the first date, you don't say that, right? On the first date, you don't say that, hey, I'm having dinner with you because I want to get married in the next 3 years or something like that. So what you want to do is sort of maintain a balance where you mention to them that I'm this is what I'm working on. These are some of the challenges that I see. What do you think about these challenges? Ask them insightful questions. Do you think that this is something that we could fix? If these were to get fixed, how could that look like? What are you looking for in your life, right? So let's say if I were to quote Srijay for a co-foundership, I wouldn't say that I'm looking for a co-founder. I try and understand what are his short-term goals. Right? Is he going to be available for an opportunity? And if yes, then I'd sort of want to have that conversation.
Okay.
Fair.
Sujay,
So
you can bring some of the folks
I,
on stage. We'll take one or
yeah,
two.
so I invited Pragya to the stage. Pragya, if you are available to come on the stage, you would have to allow your
Yeah.
video and audio. There you
So
go.
Sujay, you check my WhatsApp message.
Yes.
I will send you the link. Bring them on board.
Yeah.
Hey, Pragya, you're on mute. Yeah, now we can hear you. Yes.
And any one of you who have any questions, you can raise your hand. We have a lot of amazing founders, a lot of friends everywhere. So I requested them if they can come and speak for 5-10 minutes about their personal experiences, about how they found their co-founders, how they got into that relationship with that individuals. Pragya, thank you so much for accepting the invite. Can you tell us a little bit about you? How did you find the co-founder? What company does? Yes, Pragya.
So, from the co-founder perspective, I would say for us, majorly what worked is we definitely find someone who is first in our own circle, right? Because our friend circle, our business associates are the first ones with whom actually we have spent a lot of time. We know
Pragya,
the
so,
ins
I'm
and
sorry,
outs.
Pragya, sorry to interrupt, but tell us about your company. Where are you based out? So people get more context about it.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Basically, I am the founder at eChai. We are into last mile deliveries through electric vehicles. We are based in Surat and we have our operations in Ahmedabad and Baroda as well right now. So I, along with my co-founder Devrishi Arora, we are running this company. It's almost 3 years now that we have come into this new project of ours. I also have a background from renewable energy sector because I, along with my husband, we entered into panel manufacturing in the name of Navita Solar almost like 10, 12 years back. So, when you talk about the co-founder, definitely in multiple businesses that we run, the thought process is very clear that a co-founder has to be someone, one who has a deeper insight into the business that we are running. Because any business today you take about, right, it is not so that you don't need the understanding. If it's a tech company, you need a tech co-founder. If it's a logistics company that we are running, Dev Rishi comes from a background that he has a lineage of almost 60 years into logistics. So that is what he is bringing on the table. So what you got on the table is very important today to be a part of the company, right? When you hire someone, right, you have your KRAs fixed. What are you looking in that person to for that job, right? So co-founder is also doing a job over here, right? So for them also we have those PRAs fixed. So I knew what I am getting on the table. He knew what he's getting on the table, and that is how what has worked for us over the last 3 years. We have our areas very clearly demarked, and we are doing what we have to.
Okay. And both of you knew each other before you got into a partnership, or you discovered as and when it happened?
No, so eventually we are very old friends, like a decade now. So he knew where I belong to. I knew his expertise, but it almost took us like 3 or 4 months to first understand each other's capabilities to see there is a chemistry that we can work together, and that is how we started this.
Okay, awesome. And what was the discussion? That, like, okay, you knew each other, but you take friendly advice from the friends. But what was the communication that, okay, now let's get into serious business partnership?
I think most important is to see the vision of that person if that matches with yours, right? Because अगर आप दोनों north south सोच रहे हो, you never will reach to a common destination. So most important is to get aligned on what you want from this company. If your long term perspective is very clear, then you can decide, because definitely short term goals can differ. You can take different routes to reach that destination, but the destination has to be very clear what you're looking forward for, right? And the second is the uh, dedication, your passion towards this. So it is not so that ये business market में चल रहा है तो let's do it. How
Correct.
passionate you are about that business is the most important formula today, because you will get a lot of downfalls, right? और वो डाउन टाइम में in those dark hours the passion is the only thing that will get you back.
Correct.
So
And,
I
and, and Pragna, everyone talks about vision. Like, how do you measure that? I mean, this individual has a great vision, and how do you
see
get
vision
there?
is basically a dream. ठीक है, ड्रीम को आप कुछ नंबर्स पे डिमांड कर सकते हो कि if you talk about us, we knew that ठीक है लास्ट माइल डिलीवरीज करना है, बट व्हाट वाज द थॉट, कहाँ करना है, गुजरात में करना है, सूरत में करना है, पैन इंडिया लेके जाना है, क्या करना है, ठीक है। तो एटलीस्ट वी द विजन इज बेसिकली हम कहाँ तक, what is the desire, deep desire for us to take this company to a location, to our destination. That is what is vision, yaar. Matlab, I know it is difficult to define, but that is basically a small dream deep inside कि मैं कितना बड़ा बनना सकता हूँ with this company.
Okay, awesome. Yes, do you want to ask any question before we bring in the another guest? But thank you so much, Pragna, for these are some amazing insights.
No,
Yes.
yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Srija, you
Perfect.
want to ask anything to Pragna?
So I have invited a few people on the stage. So I think Bhavesh, Swati, Ala. So if anybody wants to be on the stage and share their experiences,
He's not
Okay, yeah,
even
you do
listening
that.
to.
Pragya, I have one question before we bring other folks. Uh, we have a lot of founders who are attending this thing and they'll watch this video later on. What is your one point advice that okay, ऐसा करोगे तो co-founder तुरंत मिल ही जाएगा. Something that okay, which increases the odds of getting a good co-founder.
See, I think there is no straight answer to this. As Yash was mentioning about marriage and matchmaking के लिए तो फिर भी websites बन चुकी है. You can go and scroll on those websites and find someone for yourself. Co-founder के लिए ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है. So is uh, this is a journey basically. ठीक है. You are walking on that journey. I always believe is networking. We have seen wonders happening through networking. So meet people. That initial inhibition of going and talking about your business to 100 different people. Okay, that is the first step. If you do that now, you'll find your co-founder.
Correct.
so as an extension to that, I think Pragya, you made a very good point that there are not enough resources to find co-founders. So if anybody could add, what would be those online places? So
Yes, presentation at 3. And there are 10 more, we will share it.
But at that point of time, Srijay was making sure that the chat is
I
working and
was
everything is
hustling.
working.
Yeah, so I mean definitely some of those obviously there, but Angel List and all those ones. But is there anything in particular that is dedicated to like finding co-founders that has worked for anybody in the audience? Maybe they can also put that in the
Someone in
comments.
the chat, I think Shamal in the chat is saying YC co-founder matching.
Correct. So, Srijay, if somebody takes you on this offer, would you help them with a free trade now?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome. So if anybody,
That would be a steal deal.
uh,
Dheeraj says that he has some questions. So
yeah.
let me.
But thank you so much, Pragna. This was a guest appearance. Like we have other interesting friends, but looking forward to see you in Surat whenever we travel next.
Anytime. We'll love to catch up soon. It's been again a long while that we last met.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pragya.
Pragya.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Dheeraj, you might have found the invite if you can accept that. And
Ala, Swati, Divyani were there.
there you go. Dheeraj is there.
And some of the
I hope my voice is audible.
This is very good, Dheeraj.
Louder than all of us.
Okay, great in that
Welcome on
case.
stage.
So I was just going through your chat as well as your conversation in terms of finding a relevant co-founder. So I would like to know, like, on the technical expertise or from the marketing perspectives or from the sales perspectives, right? Who comes from a sales background would be good value to become a co-founder. I would like to talk on those aspects to be precise.
No,
So, like
Dheeraj,
every company, yeah.
you would like to talk that you will share your insight or you want
I want to get insights on these aspects who comes from a sales or business development background for each and every company, respective of product or a service based company. the important aspect it comes in terms of sales or marketing.
Okay.
Uh,
Yes, you can pick this up. And Sujay, meanwhile, you can bring other folks. Alab, Divyani, Swati, you would have got like.
They must have gotten an invite. So yeah, just
Yeah, if
pausing.
they just turn on their video, they'd be on the screen.
Anybody who got an invite, they would have to start their video to be able to accept that, and then you have to explicitly accept the invite to get on the stage.
Okay. Meanwhile, yes, you can respond to Dheeraj's question.
Yeah, no, I agree. So it's extremely important for you to, if you are looking after engineering or product design or product development, then your co-founder should look after sales and marketing. You want to make sure that both the people are not just working on just the product, right? And you want to have diversity. I think I covered a part of that in first half of the deck as well, right? So find people who are not like you, find people who have complementary skill sets, who are different from you. It helps in two ways. So one is that the idea is that in absence of a team, will you and your co-founder be able to figure out a way to run the company, right? And so if you have complementary skill sets, that's the first question that it answers. And then from the second piece standpoint as well, where a lot of times when a product or an engineering person starts to build something, they're excited about building, right? Which may not necessarily be requirement of the market, right? And so sometimes that excitement can take over, and sometimes the love for or the internal sort of validation of the feel good factor about building a new feature and releasing it might take over, and you might end up making incorrect decisions. And so you want to have a sales slash marketing co-founder to sort of stop you and say, hey, okay, let me find customers for what we have today.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, yes. And thank you so much, Dheeraj, for your question. We have Swati with us. Pragya was from Surat. Swati is from Swati, tell us about about your company and how did you find your co-founder, some stories around that.
Okay, I'm Swati Vakhare. I'm founder of Nabi Sutra. So me and my co-founder, the story is little famous on Shark Tank India because the time we said that my co-founder is my Nandoi, my brother-in-law. So everybody was little bit shocked. Like there's a different kind of pair that it's not very common. So my co-founder. He comes from very different kind of background. However, we live in the same house from past 12 and odd years, and it's a joint family with my in-laws, my sister-in-law and her husband. So that's how we knew about each other, the kind of nature कि मुझे मेरा किस टाइप का वर्क स्टाइल है and the kind of work style he was having. And the time we decided to take it ahead with Nabi Sutra, I was more into online marketing, digital marketing, and stuff, and the conceptualization and many other things. Where I wanted a person, co-founder, who is expert in more of a quality, then finalizing the vendor, what kind of certification will be required, and inventory and other stuff, which was the thing कि वो मैं शायद नहीं मैनेज कर पाऊंगी the way he can. And we have a family business जो कि मेरे फादर इन लॉ ने शुरू किया था, इज फार्मास्यूटिकल इंटरमीडिएट्स, एंड ही इज द पर्सन हु इज हैंडलिंग क्वालिटी डिपार्टमेंट इन दैट कंपनी. So that's why he was more aware with the stuff जहाँ पे quality comes into the picture, the kind of certification and the lab testing. So where I asked him, I requested him ki if he can join us and help me to take it ahead with the right kind of combination, with the right kind of formulation and the quality and the vendor stuff. So that's how we decided. And it was like initially it was more of a help that I wasn't aware कि हम कितना किस तरह से इसको structure कर रहे हैं, because as it was a new concept, it was more like let's do it, let's do this together. And धीरे 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 the way we started working with each other, we realized that हम एक दूसरे को अच्छे से कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्किल्स के साथ पूरा फोकस करके अच्छे से कर पाते एग्जीक्यूट. एंड दैट्स धीरे धीरे वी started liking कि हाँ this the flow is correct, and that is how we decided to become a co-founder.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Swati. We have a question, probably Swati, you or somebody else can pick it up. Richard has asked this question: do we actually need a co-founder to build a successful business? what are the pros and cons of doing it with a co-founder and doing it as a solo? Swati, like, what are your opinions?
So for
Co-founder के बिना भी लोग बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी बनाते ही है, वैसे कोई दिक्कत नहीं
मैं
है।
शायद पार्टनरशिप और इस तरह से कोई नए पर्सन के साथ इन्वॉल्व होकर शायद नहीं कर पाती, बिकॉज इट टेक्स अ लॉट फॉर मी कि मैं किसी नए इंसान के साथ जेल होके धीरे धीरे, एंड शायद इन बिटवीन ऐसा लगा कि नहीं कर पाऊंगी तो मेरा पूरा ही काम करने का वो टूट जाता है। दैट्स व्हाई आई वाज लाइक लिटिल बिट चूजी, अगर करना है तो ही कर पाती। सो इनिशियली जिस तरह से हमने को फाउंडर हमारी कंपनी को जिस तरह से हुआ ये पूरा सेटअप, वो काफ़ी स्लो प्रोसेस रहा था, एंड आई वाज़न्ट अवेयर कि मुझे सही में इसमें ज़रूरत है भी कि नहीं। बट द काइंड ऑफ एरिया जहाँ मुझे पता था कि देयर विल बी अ गैप, एंड अगर कोई सही बंदा वहाँ पे लग रहा है कि हमको हेल्प करके हम इसको बेटर कर पाते हैं, देन व्हाई नॉट। बट इट इज़ नॉट अ थिंग, इट ऑल डिपेंड्स द काइंड ऑफ बिजनेस मॉडल दैट यू आर चूजिंग, और उसमें ज़रूरत पड़ सकती है कि नहीं पड़ सकती वो आपको ही ज़्यादा बेटर वे में आइडिया होना चाहिए। एंड इट इज़ नॉट अ थिंग के हो तो ही आगे बढ़ सकते हैं। देयर आर मल्टीपल थिंग्स जहाँ पे नहीं हो तो भी आप आगे बढ़ ही सकते हो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं हो सकता।
Okay, awesome. Thank you. There is a specific question for you, Swati. Sumit has asked, what are your retention strategies for your employees in Navisudra?
एम्प्लॉयज, सो जब मैंने आईटी फर्म, पहले मैंने मेरा 15 साल का जर्नी है, 10 years आई वाज मोर इनटू सर्विस इंडस्ट्री आईटी फर्म, वेयर आई वाज डीलिंग विद लाइक 60 प्लस पीपल, टीम साइज काफ़ी बड़ी थी, एंड काफ़ी कुछ टाइम मेरा टीम मैनेजमेंट में हो जाता था। एंड दैट्स व्हाई हियर व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड विद नाभी सूत्र आई वाज लिटिल बिट चूजी कि मुझे बहुत कम टीम साइज से शुरू करना है, एंड द काइंड ऑफ पीपल दैट वी आर हैविंग इन आवर टीम, most of the time what we look for is the right kind of attitude with the self motivational thing कि उनको मुझे सर पे बैठ के कुछ नहीं वो करना चाहिए। And again the most important part over here is earlier I was more into this person driven thing, but then we realized with time it should be system driven process, and then it was easier for us to take it ahead। एंड जस्ट उनको उनके हिसाब से मैं बहुत ज़्यादा फ्रीडम के साथ करने देती हूँ। इट्स नॉट ऑलवेज दैट आई एम ऑन देयर हेड, because being a mother for me it is difficult to be there all the time. I'm spending only about 4 hours and odd in a day at my office, so they need to be on their own. Systems are there, some training procedures are there, but then when they are also getting that freedom, they are there ऐसे ही ऑटोमेटिकली वो सेट अच्छे से रहता है, बिकॉज वो स्ट्रेस का माहौल नहीं बना रहता हमारे ऑफिस में, विथ लिमिटेड टीम साइज एंड द राइट काइंड ऑफ सराउंडिंग। इट हैपेंस कि वो लोग एक बार हमको ज्वाइन करते हैं तो बहुत सालों तक हमारे साथ रहते हैं।
नाइस। और जैसे मैंने प्रज्ञा को पहले पूछा था, कोई एक ऐसा सॉलिड टिप के ये करोगे तो आपका लाइफ सेट है, कि दुनिया भर के लोग आपसे को पार्टनरशिप करना चाहेंगे, आपके आपका काम हो जाएगा। एनी थिंग दैट यू मे शेयर के शार्क टैंक में आने के बाद को फाउंडर के एप्लीकेशन ज्यादा आ रहे थे आपके पास, एनीथिंग?
मेरे लिए ये करेंगे तो लाइफ सेट के बल मेरा ऐसा है कि मेरा सक्सेस मंत्र ही थोड़ा डिफरेंट है, एंड इट इज़ नॉट दैट कि मुझे उस रेस में बहुत ज़्यादा रहना है और ऐसे करना है। इट्स जस्ट बी देयर, अपनी गट फीलिंग से करो जो भी कर रहे हो, एंड फाइंड योर हैप्पीनेस विद इन योर जर्नी। सो इट्स नॉट फॉर मी कि मुझे इतने नंबर्स दिखेंगे तब जाके मैं खुश होंगी, दैट इज समथिंग आई एम वर्किंग फॉर। आई एम देयर विद माई कस्टमर्स, आई एम देयर विद द काइंड ऑफ नीड एंड द काइंड ऑफ प्रोडक्ट्स विल बी देयर। वो भी एक पर्टिकुलर यूएसपी के साथ कैसे उनके प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रही हूँ उस पर फोकस रहता है, उनके साथ रहने पे फोकस रहता है ज़्यादा। एंड दैट्स द वे आई फाइंड माई ओन जर्नी वेरी satisfactory with lot of happiness, and that's what it is.
ऑसम, थैंक यू सो मच स्वाति।
Thank you so much.
पहले हम सूरत थे, फिर बड़ौदा थे, अभी हम दिल्ली जाएंगे। we have Ravi who's joining us from Delhi side. He's based out of Delhi, but he keeps on traveling, so I'm not sure where he is right now. But Ravi, thank you so much for accepting the invite. Ravi,
Thanks.
tell us about you. How did you find your co-founder? Some story about you.
Thanks, Jatin. Thanks for having me. And it's good to see Bhavesh. He has been a part of our journey from very beginning. When we started Insurance Samadhan, he was one of the members who used us, who helped us in our brand building. Okay, so since this session is about co-founders, I have a very interesting story of how I met my co-founders. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Very, very good. Very good.
Okay. So yeah, so Insurance Samadhan as a platform started in 2018, and it was an industry first product. So there was nobody in India who was doing insurance grievances, and nobody was looking at this space as something which can be done as a startup, which can be scaled via technology first perspective. So the founders started in 2018 and doing this for operationally over a year. They figured out that there are challenges, but they could solve those challenges. And once they have done it for over a year, they were looking for somebody who could be the technical face of the company, who could understand how those processes can be automated, and after automated, how these processes can be scaled to solve this problem, which is a huge problem in India currently. Then I got in touch with them. They had already interviewed 35 to 40 people, and they were not actually, some people were qualified, some people were way over qualified, but they were not feeling the vibe of a co-founder. The what you exactly say, that the picture was not feeling complete. And that's how, like, and I got connected to them via a reference. One of the members was doing digital marketing for them, and he was working with me as head of partnerships in my first job. And after 7 or 8 years, I was in, like, I am a technical person, so for those 7 or 8 years, when that reference that I'm talking about, we were not working professionally together, but we were on and off touching base, because whenever he used to have a technical problem, he would connect with me and he would say if I could help him or his team in some kind of, like, technical expertise whereby he could, like, take the next step. And he came to me and said, are you looking for something which is going to be a challenge? And I said, okay, I will give it a shot. And then I meet my CEO, and in the first meeting only, he explained me what he is building, and somehow it clicked. I joined them as a CTO, Chief Technical Officer. And after almost 1.5 years, when we raised our pre-series A, I am one of the rare examples in a startup community whereby somebody who joined as a simple CXO level was promoted to a co-founder position. So that's how my story is.
Awesome. Brilliant. Bhavesh, you tell your story also, because both of you know each other. So I'll ask the question to you together.
It's good to see the Ravi. Thank you so much, Ravi. It's been a wonderful experience with Insurance Samadhan here. It's a new concept, and we have been good time to work on that particular brand. So yes, me and my co-founder, by coincidence, our stars are aligned and our names are similar. It's again, his name is Bhavesh Korat and I'm Bhavesh Patel. So, so there are a lot of destiny around it. No, it is the first question whenever we go somewhere, we have to answer anyway before the pitching our brand or product or anything. So we were met at networking, just the networking event, business networking event like BNI and all this. So for a community networking event, we used to meet and we used to know each other. He was good with the tech side, and I'm a good experience around the marketing, branding, and this. So we somehow gel together for one of our project. We became a business partner in terms of business associate for one project, and then we used to discuss a lot about branding, marketing, and the problems around the this particular domain. And somehow suddenly this idea came up to help the small brands and the across the India to get the right kind of content which help they solve the major problem of their daily content need. And that's how we align on the particular so we both are pole apart. He completely very frugal in terms of understanding of brand and thinking the solution, and I'm way more in terms of from advertising background, so it's more of a cost driven approach that we took in terms of bigger campaign, bigger thoughts, and a lot of money goes into marketing and branding. So that's how we we gel, and we started something that which is very frugal and appeals to the mass. So that's how we started.
Okay, we'll take one live question. Rakesh has asked, I wanted to know how to hire new employees, get them work with us, and manage their expenses. Rakesh, I'll add also one question and return them. So Ravi, Bhavesh, you want to pick this up as a question? What is your answer to?
Yeah. Okay. Bhavesh, you go or I go?
You go, sir.
Okay. So so hiring a new employee. So first of all, hiring has to be done once you. I have a simple. I will tell you what my experience is in hiring. Now, hiring becomes 10 times easier when you exactly know the KPIs that you want the person to deliver. And I have a simple theory with my team. For example, if any of my managers or any of my reportees come to me and say that we have to hire for XYZ position, my simple question is, give me a job description, and in the job description, if you can tell me what that guy is going to do in the first 30 days, first 60 days, and first 90 days, if you are that clear, just let me know and I will post the job opening. Before posting the job opening, you have to convince me that you actually want to have that person, and that person should be very clear before he joins us that what he is supposed to deliver. The problem with hiring is people go on hiring, they will post some of the JDs that they will find on internet, they will just cut, copy, paste, post this job descriptions on internet, and the candidate will interview, and he will be like clearing the interview and everything. What will happen is when he will join the company on that day, he will be asked to do something which he is not ready, and that where the disconnect starts to happen. Therefore, in your job description only, if you can just tell the person that this is what you are supposed to deliver in first 30, 60, and 90 days, if that person is good to go enough, for 90 days you have your job description ready for him, your KPI is ready for him, and the person is aligned for the first 90 days, it will make your job 10 times easier, as well as the person will feel at home, because he will know, he will have a mindset, he will come ready with the expectations that we have from him. What happens is you will, and it happens in startups, that in name of a startup, and I am a startup founder and I take a lot of responsibility in saying this thing. What happens is, like, as a founder, sometimes we take liberties in like saying that we are a startup, you will have to do XYZ, and like, because this is how it works in startup. No, because what happens is, if you are not clear about what that person is supposed to deliver, then it will create an animosity between you and the startup, the person that you are hiring. Therefore, once you are writing that job description, you need to understand that person is will be asked to deliver, and when you tell your reportees or like the manager who is going to hire that person that you have to write that job description in that manner, it will make him think about what exactly he is going to make that person do. And if he is very clear, he will be confident in hiring, he will be asking right questions, he will be asking pointed questions. The person who is giving for the interview will exactly know what he is opting in for. Sometimes so so I am like, I look after tech and product both. So what happens is, we write, we need experience 5 to 7 years, we need this, but that is a cut, copy, paste description from somewhere on the internet. Your company does very differently, and
Correct.
that is where you do not have to cut corners when writing job descriptions. You have to be very, very clear, and that is what hiring, and that is where your attrition, your employee happiness, your culture, everything will get aligned with just one this simple hack.
Yeah. Awesome. Very good points. Nandan has asked the question, but Bhavesh, I wanted to ask this question. You have two co-founders, and both of your names are Bhavesh.
Yes.
So who has the bhavesh@branch.live email address?
Bhavesh Korat has the Bhavesh at the rate branch.live, because he's the managing the whole CEO position.
Okay. Nandan has asked this question, and then I've asked a question earlier also, but we kind of missed that. But the current question: how to keep founding team motivated? Bhavesh Patel,
Yeah,
you
so
go for it.
founding team, to keep them motivated is basically giving them the responsibility, and diluting the load from there, because um, and a lot of times basically we have seen that the pressure of giving the performance and taking too much on plate is something that we are facing to and through every time. So the right direction, which is like a sort of a focused approach for any task and any solution, that needs to be bifurcate very briefly and very clearly to the particular founding team member, because once they get into the job, there five new jobs come into the in between, and it become clutter and clutter to get the right kind of solution out there, and ultimately it's time waste for a whole team also. So that's where clarity is something that we are focusing.
Okay, awesome. Before we move to the another set of our guests, I wanted to ask this question to Ravi and Bhavesh. The same similar thing that like what a founder should do, those who are looking for co-founders or early in their career, that increases the odds of they becoming more attractive for other people looking for co-founders, or they themselves getting other co-founders. What do you recommend?
So one of the things that I really recommend is once you're like, for example, if you're looking for a co-founder, you should always look for a complementary skill set. That is first, because two people who have complementary skill set will always try to complement each other. If two-person have the same skill set, what will happen is they will overlap their KPIs. And even if they have similar sort of skill set, it should be very, very clearly divided who is going to look after what part of the business. And once you have decided that you are going to look after your part of the business and he's going to look after the other part of the business, you should trust each other. And that trust should come across in your actions. That trust should come across in your voice. That should come across when you are communicating with your investors, stakeholders, employees, customers. Everything, that trust should come across. Second thing is, how do you motivate your co-founder? First of all, motivation should not be a factor for a co-founder. It should be like if you're a co-founder, you should be self-motivated. Second
Separate
thing,
human founding team, not the co-founders, but the early engineers. Early...
right. Understood. So, okay. So, in that case, what is very important is the clarity that you provide as a leader. For example, you cannot have a feeling in your leadership team that they are being asked to do just because it is supposed to be done. You have to clearly explain what is the thought process behind the work that they are doing, what is the impact that they will create. Every individual in the journey that you will encounter will always look for two things. First, what is the impact of the work that he is doing? If you can make sure that your employees or anybody at any level that you are like leading, be it your co-founder also, if you are very clear in what is going to be the impact of the work that he is doing, and if he is very clear, he will always stay motivated and aligned with you.
Okay.
Second thing which is very, very important, they should feel that they are being heard and they can communicate. Most of the time what happens is, for example, it happens a lot with leadership position that they have too much on their table, and in that part what they start doing is, once it becomes like, for example, you become 100 200 people team, that touch with your team starts to vanish. You do not communicate with them regularly enough. So make sure you have processes defined for it also. You have regular touch ups with them. They should not feel that after you have become like almost like a mid-level size company of 100 200 people, you do not have that much say in the matters of the company. They should always feel that they are growing with the company. And how do you make them feel heard? How do you make them feel that they are growing with the company? By constantly give them that growth path. You should constantly communicate with them, understand what is their definition of growth is. Every person, the most difficult part in a journey of a startup founder is how to keep people aligned with him, because tech will have its own path, the product will have its own path, the customers will regulate how your product, the customer will be in your hierarchy. This is the feature I want, this is what I want, this is. But how do you communicate with your employees? You have to understand that what is, because they are also growing with you. And if you can see your growth in numbers, in valuation, what are they seeing their growth in? Do they see their growth in leading a team? Do they see their growth in managing high volumes of business? Do they see their growth in earning more amount of money? Maybe they would want a bigger part of the business. You should have more ESOPs allotted to them. That is how you make people aligned and counted and heard. And that is where it is very important for a founder to be very, have clarity in the communication. What are we doing? What is our vision, mission? And if that is getting aligned with your journey, for example, it may get updated with your journey. You might start with point A, but after 2 years there might be a reason, or there might be forces in your journey which will make you pivot. You should be very clear what are the reasons behind them. Nobody should feel there is any kind of opacity in the way you run a company.
Yep.
The moment there is an iota of feeling that there is an opacity and there is no transparency, people will not come to your face and say. There are reasons, because people nature are there, they will feel unheard and anything, and they will start behaving differently. But it is for you to understand and be proactive in your communication, so that people feel that they are being counted, and this is a transparent way of running a business.
Yep. Awesome. This is brilliant. And thanks
Thank
to
you.
this tool, we'll be able to transcribe this put up as a blog. Thank you so much, Ravi.
Thank you.
Bhavesh, you mentioned one interesting thing in your introduction: the stars align.
Yeah.
How do the stars align for you?
How do you do?
How did you tell us something? Then हमारे भी थोड़े star align हो जाए ऐसा.
So, so I think somehow we both share the same name, but I think the skill that we both have is very opposite to each other. In terms of dealing, he's very aggressive. He knows the very very good with the numbers and something you can say a deal cracker or deal maker. And I'm more in towards the creative side and content creation part, and aligning the all sort of processes and all this. Uh, so that's how we complement each other. Where he is very fast, I am very much in terms of control of things and do the right thing at the right time. But that's how we do the things, and including our team that Ravi has brilliantly put it together. That clarity is something that let's say as a founder, co-founder, we thought, okay, let's say complete this in 3 months, 6 months, and 3 years down the line here. But the core team is not aligned with that particularly. How we see as a from above, they are busy with their daily operations and do things, and then it's become mundane for them. And if there is clarity is not there, then it is something that missing in the teams. So I think we complement each other in this terms, that we keep aligned our thoughts together every day.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Ravi and Bhavesh. We'll move to the new guest now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us, Jitin. Looking forward to more connections. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Devani, probably you would have got the invite from Srijay. You can accept that. We'll bring you on board. But after Delhi and Ahmedabad, we move to Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Ahmedabad. So Venkatesh, Charu, and Kevur who has joined in. So all three of you, tell us briefly about you. How did you find your co-founder? So Charu, what's your story? And tell us about you also and the company. Charu.
Yeah, hi Jatin, and hi Shriji. Thank you for having us over here. So me and my co-founder, we know each other for now 15 odd years. We met in our college and ended up getting married. So we are partners in the business of the venture and also partners in life. So that's how we met. And I think before we became co-founders in the venture, we were already sort of co-founders in our married life, and we nurtured that startup for some time before it matured to a stage. So I think we kind of knew how to handle each other. We knew what switches off and switches on the right and the wrong buttons. So before we actually started building this, we built a life together and knew each other well, and then thought of starting the venture together. So that's how we met, and that's how we started this. So our startup's name is Pro Zero Carbon. We are trying to work on the problem of climate change and helping companies decarbonize. It's a climate tech startup that we're trying to build in the space of ESG and decarbonization. So the space in itself is quite tricky and sort of a growing and evolving space. So in a space like this, I think if you have a co-founder where the level of understanding is very high, it becomes very easy. So for us, I think being partners in life and knowing each other has made this journey quite easy. So I think and a lot of people ask us, that so you are co-founders, and I mean you are spouses, and then you're also co-founders. How do you manage, or how do you balance the two things, right? And then sometimes you end up telling them. So instead of talking about the relatives or talking about random stuff, we talk about the business also on the dining table or at home, and I think that's kind of interesting too, and a little bit more productive rather than talking about people. um, Plus I think because both of us are really invested in this what we are building, we kind of love this. So this is like another sort of a baby that you're trying to build and
Yep.
nurture together. It's kind of fun, and we like each other's company. We're quite fond of each other.
So we let go of things, possibly more easily sometimes. So it's fun. It's kind of good to have partners as co-founders also.
Nice. Awesome. And Charu is based out of Hyderabad. So today we have folks from all over India. There are a lot of people who are asking questions, and Ankush, I see that Ankush has responded to me also. So this is great. Right? Everybody is trying to help each other. We'll take up some of those questions, but we have Keur. Keur is from Ahmedabad. He is a jet setter. He travels all over. So Keur, are you in Ahmedabad?
Yes, yes. Today I'm in Ahmedabad. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Keur, tell us about you, your company, and how did you find your company?
Correct. So I'll just take back everyone 10 years back, correct? So my first company was established in 2012 while I was still working. So my first co-founder for that company, that company name was Oraiden. We have been childhood friends, family friends, schooling together. He is 1 year elder to me and engineering together. So वो होता है ना कि engineering में I was a general secretary तो doing events and all was under my banner and he used to get into all the graphics and designs. So that's where we decided कि कुछ करेंगे आगे जाके और नहीं engineering में बोल दिया खत्म हो गया. फिर then I did my masters, I worked somewhere, he worked somewhere and then one day he called me that I'm thinking to start something, correct? But then I was working. So then the first company which we started was a design and animation studio where I invested actually, and he started full time. I used to look into business development to an extent, but then 2 years back, 2014 is when I joined full time, and we pivoted that company to a AR and VR studio for real estate. So that's how the first co-founder, and he's still my partner in the new company. But we have been knowing each other almost for 20 years. I would say all our sports, cricket, volleyball, we played together. We went for vacations together while we were kids, correct? And so that all helped. That company got acquired by company Square Yards in 2015. Post that, when we started this company Pluto Man, we had another co-founder coming in, but again while we were at Square Yards we got some of the applications technology piece outsourced through a company, and that is where we met my third current co-founder, Hiren, correct? So and the reason of adding him onto the team was while we were at Oraiden or even at Square Ad, वो एक कीड़ा होता है ना, we try something, some or the other thing, नया business try किया है, but we could realize that there was a junction when we were very near to an investment, but because of we not able to deliver a prototype on a right time, we lost on that investment and the timeline, because वो 3 महीने के delay में we had 1 or 2 similar startups coming out and all. So we thought that unless we have a core technical guy as part of a co-founder, we would not start a company. So that logic, again, it could be right, it could be wrong, but then that's how we thought that ऐसा एक बार गलती हो गया है तो अब नहीं करना है. So then that's where, while we were starting this, we approached him because we liked his technical capabilities. And while starting Plutoman, he was already running a small boutique mobile development and gaming company. We approached, we discussed, and again, I think a lot of people explained about having a vision, aligning to a vision. So that's where there was an alignment, wherein we started again to explore AR/VR as a domain initially as a service, and then slowly shifted towards making it a product company. So that's how I think I met my current two co-founders.
Nice. Awesome. लोगों को एक नहीं मिला. You have two co-founders. Very good.
I had one more, but then he has left. But then, yeah, so I have good co-founders. I have, again, both side of experiences are always there, but then good learnings across the journey.
Okay, awesome. We have Venkatesh with us. Venkatesh is interesting because he was part of a formal program where he found his potential his co-founder. So Venkatesh is from Bangalore. Tell us about you, our company, and how did you find the co-founder?
Sure, sure. Hi, everyone. First of all, it's very interesting setup. It's a pretty good initiative, Jatin. Cool. I'm Venkatesh. Currently, I'm building a AI startup called Hyperly. It's a LinkedIn content creation tool. So I have three stories to share. So because I have started three companies. So the first one is how I found my co-founder when I moved back from US in 2016 through in a small meetup. And second one, how I shared my presentation or an idea over on LinkedIn openly, and how I attracted two co-founders, tech co-founders. The third one, how I found another co-founder in Antler. I think you might have heard about it's a accelerator program, right? All these three co-founders, I never actually met them before in my life. So, it's totally built on trust, and I have to take the leap of faith and understand who I am, and I had to understand who they are in a very short time. I also didn't have much time to take risk for a longer time, right? So in 2016, when I moved back to India, I wanted to start a company. So I had made a decision that from my expertise, I want to start a solar energy company, right? And my expertise is I realized that I can give a name, I can go and sell, I can go and market, but I didn't know that my weaknesses are complete opposite of what a marketer can do or what a salesman can do, which is operations and finance, right? So at the same time, I happened to attend a one meetup that happened. It's a 3D workshop meetup. I met one guy, and we started having tea. I also realized that we both realized that we both came back from US, and we both are hungry to start something instead of going for jobs. So that is one common element between us. So here, luckily, he I realized I learned that he extremely good at operations and finance, whereas I'm good at marketing and sales. So that partnership worked really well. After 4 years, we built a very good solar energy company, expanded into almost like three different states in India, and we sold the company in 2020. So that is the story of that. I don't know how much time we have, but second story, I openly shared. I have an idea. It's a tech product. It's a healthcare tech product, price intelligence tool for medicines. It is pretty much like inspiration from US, one of the US products, like a good RX. Um, it's my weakness. It's not my weakness. My expertise is into sales and developing a business, not tech. So I shared the idea publicly on LinkedIn, and two people approached me. Hey, I resonate with your idea. I want to be part of it. So he's a tech guy. He took care of entire tech. I never paid him, or he never asked me for the payment. And we actually agreed to be the co-founders thing. But the only one challenge here, he was only working part time, and I'm completely invested into it, and it didn't work. I also understand why it didn't work. And third startup, I met my co-founder at Antler. I realized at this time, I realized what are my core strengths, and I also realized what are my weaknesses in building let's say $1 million or $1 billion business. So at this point, I exactly know whom I need, rather than there is no hit and miss here. If I'm looking for someone, I should know that who's this guy is. So Antler has facilitated this environment where, okay, we bring business people, we bring tech people, we do this co-founder matching, just like a Tinder or a Bumble and everything, right? They don't do it, but we have to do it. But these guys have done it. So I have an opportunity to speak about like 30 tech founders, and they have an opportunity to evaluate me. What are my core skill set? Can we build a business? And it has to be $1 billion business. So at this point, I came up with an idea, and this co-founder, this guy, has built a indie hacker product, similar indie hacker product on the similar idea, and sold it already. But he knows that he needs a business guy, so it worked pretty well. We are right now 5 months into our journey. We have about like 500 signups on our product, and the entire tech is completely built. I'm completely investing on B2B sales and bringing the customers. So far, the business is going pretty well. The product is getting really good traction. Yeah, one of the common pattern I have noticed in these three relationships, all of these three people have the desire more than the tech expertise or skill set, talent or skill set. So the desire aligned with between us than anything else. The second
Okay.
is all of them actually notice that I'm a business guy and I bring the idea, and they actually took care of either take care of the operations and finance, right? Either tech in terms of operations and finance. So that's those are the three. Those are the two common patterns I have observed in the relationships. Sorry if it took a little longer.
No, no, this is amazing. Awesome. Because eventually, a lot of people will not have a lot of great friends. They'll have to be part of this, such programs to get co-founders.
Yeah.
But we have Divyani with us. Divyani, thank you so much. If you can tell us about you, Cognito, and how did you find yourself?
Hey, thanks, Jatin, and hello, good evening, all my fellow entrepreneurs. I think it's only an entrepreneurs can meet at this hour of the day, so it's good to see all of you here. And I'd also like to thank Yash because I wish someone would have told me all those pointers which actually Yash mentioned this today while he was speaking. I was like, yes, yes, this is really true. This is really true. So it was kind of
Hey, I also wish someone told me, right? This is there's some these are the things that happened to me. So yeah.
yes, exactly. Yeah. So good. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for sharing. So just talking about me and my journey. I co-founded Cognective. It's a connected operation cloud for mining and construction, which is the most ignored sector currently in terms of digital transformation. But wherever you see a Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana board, you can either you know either disregard me or regard me for the quality of work which is going on, because with our computer science algorithm we kind of try to monitor the quality of the roads and the quality of the mining which is happening and the digital transformation piece. That's what we do. But keeping that aside, with my journey, so as Pragya mentioned, that we tend to find someone who's like a peers or someone who's very close to us, because those are our first picks for co-founding, because you tend to open up more with them, or maybe you think that they'll understand you more. So that's what happened with me. I had a group of friends. We used to do our college projects and everything together, so we thought, okay, this would be something similar, so we started in such a manner. Me and my we were three four friends, and two other friends were actually of full-time work. So this was not their priority, but for priority for us. So gradually it actually didn't work out, because there was not a sync with the priorities and the not exactly the values, but the vision. So that kind of didn't work out. But I was happy, like lucky enough, the current my current co-founder Anshul, he is my 12 years old college friend, and he was the one who actually stick by till today. And we have been failing and building products together since last 12 years, and we have been doing like cognitive together for last 3 years successfully. So this is kind of my story.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you are based out of Bangalore.
Yeah, I'm based out of Bangalore. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take some questions, and also we can bring some people on stage now. But Vrushabet asked this very good question, and then a lot of people would be going through that. Uh, when do we know whether we need a co-founder or an employee? Because sometimes you are looking for a developer, but you don't have the budget or you don't want to pay money, so you say, "I'm looking for a tech co-founder." So
Yes,
when do you
yes.
actually know you need a co-founder or a person with a specific skill set who can be a potential? Who'll take this up? Or have you gone
Correct.
through similar things? Yes, Divyani.
Yeah. So one thing is, it's this thing is not a one size fit for all. So everyone has their own story, everyone has their own requirements. So while you are in the journey, while you are building, let's say me and my co-founder both come from a technical background, but I took that pain of going into that business aspect. I worked as a solution architect and then went into that. So while I am building it, and if there's a dire need of something which I cannot do it myself, and there's someone who is good at it and who can do it for me, that's where someone you can hire, employ. But co-founder cannot be wait with the employee, because co-founder is going to be a part of your journey. Like, he'll be sharing your vision, your ideas, your ups and downs. So co-founder is when you need both emotional support as well as who you want someone to complement your skills. But when you just need one task to be completed or one part of it to be completed, that's when you'll hire someone to get that particular piece of work done. So yeah, to complete the puzzle, you won't need an employee. To complete the puzzle, you need the co-founder.
Okay, awesome. Harsh, Harsh, you wanted to ask something? Tell us about you and what question you have.
And Jatin, I'm founder of Trades Technologies. We are building India's most transparent trading and advisory platform. आपने बहुत देखा होगा, right now anybody is coming and picking up investors and making 2200 crores, right, in Ponzi schemes and uh, fake narratives of guaranteed profit. So we want to change that narrative. We want to bring transparency into the industry and provide advisory that really works for the client and investors, and that is our vision.
Okay. Any question you have for the folks who are
Question, but
going?
I like to tell something that when we are looking for a co-founder, mainly we should first think about that whom we can trust, right? पहले तो ट्रस्ट की बात आती है, अगर को फाउंडर की बात करते हैं तो रात को नींद आनी चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि भाई इसको ले लिया को फाउंडर, अभी ये जरूरत है, डेवलपर चाहिए, टेक चाहिए, ये चाहिए, पता चला फिर रात को यू आर स्लीपिंग, यू आर आउट स्टेशन एंड कुछ हो गया, कंपनी रही नहीं आपकी।
हर्ष, ये आपका ऑब्जर्वेशन है कि पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है?
हाँ, ये ऑब्जर्वेशन है, मुझे लगता है कि ट्रस्ट के बिना बिजनेस नहीं होना चाहिए और होता भी
Okay.
नहीं है। अहमदाबाद में अगर गुजराती हो तो पता है कि भाई ट्रस्ट होगा तो ही धंधा होगा, होगा नहीं तो नहीं होगा।
Okay.
दैट इज वन थिंग। एंड दूसरा, जहाँ तक रही बात लुकिंग फॉर को फाउंडर,
नहीं नहीं, सर, if you have a question we will continue with that
and
as
I
we
don't
will
have
go
any
there.
question.
Okay, perfect. Awesome, thank you so much. We'll take some audience questions, and one of the recurring question that I'll just pick up that Sagar has asked. Many founders face difficulties when recruiting senior professionals. How can one effectively handle such situation? Charu, Keur, Venkatesh, Divyan, you want to pick this up?
So just to reiterate, is it about hiring senior professional, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I guess I forgot the name, Ravi or someone who was there on the call with
Ravi
Bhavesh.
Mathur. Ah.
So I guess one of the very important point which he mentioned, correct. So when it comes to hiring a senior guy, ultimately you are aligning him. Maybe he has not joined as a funding team, but he would ultimately be driving your vision, correct. So the clarity of the vision which you have should be translated to the person, senior most person who is getting on board. The very other important point are the KPIs, or the nowadays we call it OKRs, correct? So those needs to be aligned. That okay, if what are the expectations which you have from the senior guy who is joining? In fact, I have faced a problem when it comes to hiring a senior guy, but वो senior guy और नीचे टीम ही नहीं है, correct? तो वो बंदा को नीचे का काम भी करना है। तो कभी कभार क्या होता है, we take a very senior guy from a very highly reputed company, तो he is used to a process, एंड आप स्टार्टअप में लेते हो, वो 2 महीने में उसका दिमाग खराब हो जाएगा कि यार मेरे को अगर पोस्ट कस्टमर को कुछ भेजना भी है तो ऑर्डर आ गया, उसके बाद इनवॉइस भी मेरे को अकाउंट्स अगेन आउटसोर्स है, तो वापस फॉलो अप करो, इनवॉइस नहीं गया, हार्ड कॉपी भेजा है कि नहीं भेजा। सो दे आर नॉट यूज टू दोज थिंग्स। तो पहले तो ये देखना है कि कोई भी सीनियर बंदा वो हसल के लिए या वो ग्राउंड लेवल तक एग्जीक्यूशन के लिए रेडी है कि नहीं है। दैट इज द सिंगल मोस्ट क्वेश्चन। सेकंड, वो बंदे को ज्वाइन क्यों करना है। उसको अगर लेट से XYZ सैलरी 50 लाख 60 लाख जो भी मिल रहा है, वो स्टार्टअप में आ रहा है, शायद कम सैलरी पे आएगा ईसॉप्स या इक्विटी के चक्कर में, तो व्हाट इज हिज इंटेंट बिहाइंड ज्वाइनिंग हियर एज अ सीनियर मेंबर, करेक्ट। तो ये 3-4 चीजें, क्लैरिटी ऑन आवर साइड, व्हाट व्हाई ही वांट्स टू ज्वाइन योर कंपनी, एंड थर्ड वो हैंड्स ऑन करने के लिए रेडी है कि नहीं। आई थिंक 3-4 चीजें क्लियर होगी तो इट बिकम्स इजी टू हायर और एटलीस्ट फिल्टर द रिक्रूटमेंट्स। और ये फेलियर आएगा, मतलब जरूरी नहीं है कि पहला बंदा हायर किया वो सही होगा, आप 2-3 बार करेंगे तब जाके शायद एक बंदा मिलेगा। फर्स्ट टाइम राइट इज अ ब्लेसिंग।
Okay, Kunal Gosrani has asked this question. How about starting with a joint venture before doing a proper partnership? Any one of you done that? That before committing full, you do a joint venture in your probably you, but any joint ventures you've done where you work deeply with some other organization?
We have created partnerships. So in fact, let's say one of my co-founder, Hiren, correct. So he has created apps for me before he actually became my co-founder, correct. It was for another business, but not this business, correct. So that ways, and currently also as a business, we are having partners where we outsource work. It's not development work, but proper outsourced work. But again, joint venture and then partnership, I think I don't know. मतलब वो क्या मुद्दा है, ट्रेडिंग करना है या प्रोडक्ट बनाना है, वो पूरा एक अलग एंगल आ जाता है.
So I'm currently doing a JV. So maybe 2 years later,
Okay.
we'll have
Yes,
some insights.
you want to ask question to some of our friends over here?
Yeah, so I was also looking at the Q&A section. I think Rushabh has a question, and I also had a similar question. Is when you consider an employee to be an entrepreneur and almost a co-founder to becoming a co-founder, has anyone seen that journey where somebody is a significant employee and then became a co-founder? And if that happened, what is that criteria or what is that trigger point where you realize that it's more important for her or him to become a co-founder at that point in time?
I'll
I've
take
seen that. Sure, Venkatesh, please go ahead.
Yeah, yes. Okay.
No, I've spoken a lot, so Venkatesh, please.
Okay. I think I recently understood. It is my third startup, but my co-founders, it's almost like second startup. He spent about last maybe 10 years as a tech engineer in multiple startups, like Series A funded kind of a startups. Right? I understand this one thing really, really well, where I don't need any financial backup, if and still I can make my business successful. So there are only two personalities in startups. One, a business guy who goes and builds a business, right? So if this employee has the business skill set or a deep domain expertise or existing partnerships, he doesn't need a financial backup. Okay, so I think financial roadmap, right? But if a tech person starting his entrepreneurial journey, they need to have a minimum 1 year of the financial roadmap. If not, they immediately go back to job, right? Because whenever we are actually starting this initial entrepreneurship journey, right, to learn the domain expertise or to get that initial traction, it takes a minimum 6 months, a minimum 3 months to 6 months time, right? Whereas a business guy who even doesn't have a financial backup or whether he has a finances or not, he has the confidence that okay, I'm going to go and get some kind of a revenue, right? So he creates the revenue on the go. But when it comes to a tech person, they never actually trained to create the revenue, right? In the last 10 years, I've been a tech leader or a tech manager or a project manager. They never actually trained to go and get the revenue, right? All of a sudden, if you ask them to create a revenue, and if the product is very new, right? Sorry, my daughter just showed up.
Hi.
And my wife, first time we are staying together.
No worries. This is nice. Yes.
Yeah. So if the tech founder is experimenting with a very new idea, right, it is very hard for them to become an entrepreneur if they don't have the financial backup. Luckily, all three of luckily whatever the startups, I know that it's going to work. My first co-founder has at least 2 years financial backup. My second co-founder right now, this guy is I think Bansal, so he has a pretty good backup at least for next 2 generations. So I'm very confident on that, right? But these are the two personalities. We have to know that what kind of a personality I have today, right? Otherwise, it is going to be a big mess between these two co-founders, right?
Yep. Awesome. Like Ankush has asked this question, I'll add on to that. Is it wise to have two co-founders for a startup in a product base and other for service base, if they both have same goal, or one co-founder could handle both? And I wanted to add on to that. Do you like when you have more than two co-founders? Dynamic. What is the dynamics? So I and Kunal are the co-founders at eChai, so I know the dynamic of a two co-founder. Do you have more than two co-founders? Any Cure has it?
Yes.
Yash, the earlier
Yeah.
company. So what's the dynamics? And if you can
You
respond
want to
to
go first? Or?
Okay, I'll try to be short so that Yash can also pitch in. So
thank you for being liberal to Yash's.
I like listening to Yash, correct? So he has good insight. So uh, very simple. What we follow, correct, is division of work, correct? So very straightforward that who is responsible for what. And there are areas where we have to discuss. But so let's say if a decision on a strategy or let's say business development is to be taken, or let's say a client we have to take at even a lower rate than we expected, the other two co-founder might have a say, but even if I want to take it at loss, I would be able to do it, correct? If anything on tech, then my other co-founder would have rights, correct? So that ways we have divided on responsibilities, and on the other front, who would have say on what front, correct? So एक veto power वाला जो एंगल होता है कि ये चीज में इसको veto है, तो वैसे हमने डिवाइड किया है हमारे कंक्लूजन। डायनामिक्स अगेन इट इवॉल्व्स। जैसे मेरे में जो मेरा एक को-फाउंडर था रवि, वो हम लोग 20 साल से जानते हैं, या अभी तो 30 साल हो गए जाने हुए। हिरेन, ही हैज बीन 10 इयर्स टू आवर जर्नी, करेक्ट? सो एक कंफर्ट स्टार्टिंग में जो 1-2 साल होता है वो लगता है, बट देन इवेंचुअली इट विथ क्लियर टास्क डिफाइनिंग एंड एप्रिसिएशन ईच अदर जो काम कर रहे हैं, तो वो धीरे-धीरे आ गया।
Okay, awesome. Srijay, probably we can bring some of the folks on stage. Ankush has asked this question, or so that we can have them speak up. You can bring 4 or 5 interesting folks who you find interesting based on their names. You can bring them on board, or probably you can raise your hands. We'll bring you on board. But I wanted to ask this question, which I had asked earlier, folks also. There are a lot of founders. You corrected, right? You found the co-founders. What do you recommend people that like these are the 2-3 things you should do, which increases the odds of you getting a co-founder? What do you recommend? Divani, one by one, all of you can go for it.
Yeah, the most important thing is like you keep your ears open, like you keep talking to people, and you keep the hunt on whenever you talk to people. Like it's actually like matchmaking. So but there are always a checkbox in your head, like while you speak to someone, that which you don't have and which you want your co-founder to, because you know that very well, and how you can bond to that person. So that key checkbox keep coming in the head. For me, it used to happen, though I have my friend as a co-founder, but we also need someone for other works as well. So there should always be a checkbox in your head. The hunt should always be on. You should open to all the questions. You should try to listen, and you should ask as many questions as possible, like so that you can identify the red flags if there are any. So yeah, so this is my piece of advice.
Okay, these are very good points. Charu, what do you recommend?
Yeah. So in this one, I've been lucky to have my partner as co-founder. However, in my previous venture, I had another co-founder who was a friend from I had known from some time. So when it comes to, I think, co-founders, one, if you should, as Divyani also mentioned, you should be open to it, but also, I think generally conversation. Like if you're not a very social person, then also it becomes very difficult to have to find a co-founder, because these are not typically things that you would discuss in a very formal setting, right? You understand the other person, their characteristics, behaviors, values, etc. When you meet in an informal setting. So I think if you really want to find a co-founder, then maybe go and socialize more, be in networking groups, or be in places where people are hanging out for no reason. Because I think when you go out with a specific intent of I want to find a co-founder, everybody's at their best behavior, right? It's like an possibly maybe like an arranged marriage where you are meeting in a setting, so you are a very different person than what you are maybe when you're hanging out with your friends and you happen to meet each other. So maybe go and socialize more, get to know people generally, and have conversations around your ideas, what you think, what you're trying to build as well. And then I think in those circumstances you will get to know if the values are same, if you bond and gel on some basic foundational things. And then of course, I think if you have I think a lot of people are mentioning about complementary skill sets. Those things also you get to know, but yeah, just go about and socialize for no specific reasons, and it just makes it easier to get co-founder. I know a lot of other people who have managed to find co-founders this way, over maybe drinks or coffee or just casual meetups.
Okay, awesome. It's 8:06. We'll wrap it up in another 15 minutes or so.
मेरे को सिर्फ एक ही पॉइंट ऐड करना है इसमें कि बाकी सब तो जो इन्होंने बोला वो करना ही चाहिए, उसके अलावा साथ में स्पोर्ट्स खेलने चले जाना चाहिए, तो एक ट्रू कैरेक्टर बाहर आ जाएगा।
हाँ, करेक्ट। ट्रू कैरेक्टर के लिए एक्चुअली ट्रैवल करना चाहिए साथ में, वो भी ऑप्शन में रहना चाहिए।
नहीं स्पोर्ट्स में भी मतलब जैसे क्रिकेट में पता चलता है कि टेस्ट लगा और कैच हुआ तो मतलब कितना
No, so
झूठ बोल रहे हो.
actually, in sports, it's a reverse actually. That extreme emotions come out at a sport. So you may misjudge somebody who is very aggressive, but in reality, that person could be really nice. So that becomes a false negative or a false positive.
I think
Uh,
unplanned itineraries के trips लेने चाहिए.
but for that, we don't have money.
Get
So,
someone like Venkatesh.
नहीं तो ऐसे ही तो पता चलेगा ना कि you don't have money.
Exactly. I think that's
कि
the whole
co-founder के
point.
पास
Without
कितना है.
money traveling, it's the same setup, na?
okay, Venkatesh, you're like what people should do is that increases their odds. They should use hyperly, so you'll give one or two giveaways today or something. Yes,
So
Venkatesh.
in both successful I think relationships what I had in three startups, in two startups are very successful. I know that this is going to be successful. So the first initial things I arrange the meetings as a business guy. I arrange the meetings in different other states. Let's say in my first business, I arranged the meeting in Ahmedabad, meeting a very big industry, right? So we have to travel like very unexpected itinerary I had to draw, and we traveled in general train. We have to do a lot of that hustle. I think that is the unexpected travel and your patience level while we are waiting for the customer to show up and your presentation skills. Like, because end of the day, revenue matters, irrespective of the things, right? So I might be good salesman. At one point, I need bit of a support from my co-founder, right? So in both the times, in the initial month, I arranged the meetings in different states. Then Hyperly, I arranged the meeting in Kochi. So we traveled there. We gave a talk in front of the 40 CEOs. So there, I allow myself to this co-founder, hey, how I perform, right? Do I meet your criteria? And also I want to understand how do you perform in front of the people, right? Because when we are trying to build $1 million company, I'm just saying, right? Yeah, basic at this time, if we are starting at age of 30, 40, we want to at least build a couple of $1 million businesses. The more than the talent, are you ready to show up even though we have a lot of imperfections, right?
Yep.
I'm not interested in talent, but are you ready to show up and get the job done, right? So the travel along with where we can perform the skill set what we already have or what we have built in the last 10 years, can we bring it together and create the revenue? That is, I always see very practical approach in the initial 2-3 months.
Okay, awesome. Srijay has been coordinating with a lot of logistics for this seminar. So because uh, the way Kevur mentioned, he loves listening. Yes, Srijay has a lot of good insight. Okay, now that we are towards the end and there is no need to worry about logistics of getting it done. What is your input? What do you recommend founders then? What increases the odds of the getting a potential founder?
So voice is cutting off a little bit.
He's saying what are your insights on finding a
On
founder?
finding a co-founder,
Yeah.
I'm sort of riding solo right now, so I might be a little odd one out. But I think I mean in all honesty, I think having a co-founder is tremendously important. Right, very fortunately, I've had very significant employees who are as good as co-founders who have been with me since inception, or at least 8-9 long years, and they lead different divisions with as much of an accountability, if not more. So that makes it easy. But having said that, if you are starting fresh, I think there is nothing as important as finding a co-founder, and scaling becomes so much more easier. Dividing the roles and responsibility, and just knowing that if you mess up, you have somebody to kind of get your back. So yeah, that's my view. In all honesty, if I were to get one, I would definitely get one.
Okay, and yes, of course, you made a presentation for that.
So all insights are, if I say anything new now, it means that I didn't think it through while I was doing the presentation.
Yes. But, uh, but anything that so sometimes what happens, you have two very good potential co-founders, but you want to bring one person on board. So when you have multiple choices, which one you go for, or do you
This is
recommend?
a great problem to have. I wish this problem on everyone, so, so that they always have a choice. But here's another piece that I want to talk about that I should write. There was a poll a while back on the screen where we spoke about a lot of some large organizations also offer this as a service, right? Where they sort of I'm a non-tech person, and an organization could come in and say that they can become the tech co-founder against some equity and some very basic amount of cash payment. And the reason why I want to talk about that is I think close to 70 odd percent or 65% voted for yeah, that sounds good. I sort of have a very arguable opinion on that, and so please don't take this as fact, but it's extremely arguable. But in my very limited experience, I've not come across a large company that was built that way. That is one, and second is that typically when and most likely it's an agency, right? So it's either a digital marketing agency that will come in and say to a tech founder saying that we'll do your growth, or it's going to be an IT agency that's going to come into a non-tech founder and say that we'll build the product for you. In those cases, what I've seen is that the priorities are never aligned, right? So if I am the agency, my goal is not to build values, not to build a startup. It is always going to be to make sure that the agency is profitable. And so there could be cases where, in lieu of short-term cash flow pressures, I will, as an agency, I will compromise on long-term value creation. And so when that happens, it's the founder that might end up suffering a little bit. Again, very arguable opinion. But since I saw that the majority of people voted yes on that poll, I couldn't help myself but share that, again, very arguable opinion.
Yeah, I think this is where actually the desire matters a lot more than anything else. How long the desire stays, right? If, for most of the agencies or, excited founders, the desire stays initial 3 months or 6 months. When no revenue is showing up, there are a lot of unknowns, the motivation levels go down, and there is no way that you're going to save the company.
Okay, awesome. Rhythm had asked this question. I'll add on to that. In your answer, you need not name specific individuals. That is your choice whether you want to name it. So Rhythm's question is it okay to make a friend co-founder whom you know since long and also have same vision as yours? So a lot of people have gone through that path. But has that happened that there is some good friend of yours that individual meets the skill set criteria, but since your friend, you know the individual, and you avoided that being part of having that person as a co-founder. That you would reject some person because you know them really well, even though their skill set fits in. Has that happened with you?
It's happened with me, yes. So I'd say that every decision is right at the moment when it is taken, right? Because you only know so much variable at that point of time. It is in hindsight that everyone becomes wiser, right? So I had a very close friend of mine who I still like is an extremely close friend of mine.
That's why I'm mentioning. You need not name it because then they will not remain close friends.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's completely fine. He went on to start another company also, and I sat to make his business plan, and he advised me on my next journey with momentum and acquisition of client joy and all of that, right? So we're extremely good friends. Abhishek and I we started the company along with Anupama, but Abhishek is my extremely good friend, co-founder. While we were building it, it stopped working out from a work standpoint. And so, as long as you are able to, so unsaid expectations are the mother of all, be whatever. So if you're able to clearly articulate that this needs to happen and this is not happening, and he also was very clearly able to articulate that these are his goals and we are not aligning together. There's no reason why your personal friendship and professional career cannot they can coexist, and even if you part ways, your friendship can also sort of exist.
Okay. Rajendra, probably if you can speak up, you can speak up. Rajendra. We are in the last 5 minutes of this conversation. Okay, Rajendra is just joining.
Yeah, 1 second. You guys can hear me?
Yes, Rajendra is from Jaipur, but he keeps on traveling. Rajendra, tell us about you. Where are you now? How did you find your co-founder? Now that you have two ventures, and one is your company and the VC fund that you started. Yes, Rajendra.
Yeah. So I think I'll give just background about me. Uh, so again, I am engineer by profession. So computer science graduate from Triple IT Jabalpur in 2015. Then idea was to like I pre-planned everything like how the life should be in 20 years. That was like little bit immaturity, but still I thought like I should play this around in this way. So I thought I got offer from like Oracle. I am telling the story which is like which should be for the every early stage founder. So I went to Bangalore, worked there for a 6-7 month in a startup. So we have a 6 month intern in Triple IT. So there we were only four people, and from there we became like 6-7 people, and almost 7 months we used to work for 17-18 hours a day. Our boss used to just bring good food for us, and we were very happy with that. So I think, but the best part was that my friends who were doing intern in Oracle and I was doing in that startup, it was a total very good exposure about everything, because my target was that for 2 years I'll be learning everything, investing, and also how to build something. So as a software engineer, that was the journey. Then I joined this a company named AsanPay, which was acquired by Suvidha Infosar. So there again we were four people. Same story, like they were acquired when I was there, but complete different exposure, building some payment gateway and everything. But how some company gets sold. So that was one part of the exposure, which today I feel like that was very important in that life. Then I joined Venture Nursery, which funded this Oyo Room. It was an accelerator, but that was like 50% of my job. But I was hired to build some product for, let's say, Bangladesh, Dubai market. So I was like project manager technology. So there, but I used to sit in the meetings where they used to invest in the companies, how they evaluate. My job was to see from the technology side, like how they is this technology relevant, because these all group of investors didn't understand the technology part. So like I was very junior, but still I used to get that kind of exposure. So there I learned this, like how the investing is happening. And the same time they exited Oyo when they invested like 50 lakh, they made around 70 crore or something. Then I realized I think investing is also a good job. And so the 2 year almost complete in December 2016, and I came back to Jaipur and I started this company named Fresho Cart Agri. So there again, this co-founding part, the topic which you guys were discussing. So we were like three founders. I was the full-time founder and I was having part-time founder. All three were like equal partners in the fund, like 33, 33, 33. Then one was my college friend. He, like, we were very close friends. Like अगर किसी को 2 रूम भी हॉस्टल में अलॉट होते थे, हम एक जगह ही रहते थे, like that. So then, but he like after the college, after 1 year of working here, he went to Australia. He started working in the technology side only, but his job was like very highly paying. And another one was from IIT Guwahati computer science. He was in Amazon US. So then team was very good. One was like, but all were from the technology background. Now what happens that so we have decided our responsibility, like one person will be taking over the technology, one investment side, and I was the operation guy. And we thought we will be investing our money, we will never go for the fundraise, and we got the solid model. I will not go on to the business model side and all. But what happens that things don't go when you are not on the ground, you don't understand like how exactly thing happens. So we invested all three around like 60 lakh, but it almost became zero in first 1.5 year. And then we realized that after 1 year, my US friend, he said, and both were part time. He said, I am not coming. I already invested, and I think so. The confidence went lost. So one first thing is like always all founders should be full time from the day one. So that's my personal learning. Then I told the other founder, he was also a good friend, that if you will be living in future, tell me today only, because I'm not having any job. So you have to give me confidence that you will be here, because you are still part time. He said that I am earning somewhere else, but I think and that is required today. Maybe sometime if money is required. And then that I convinced, and then again we continued for 6 months. Again business was not working, because we never went to for raising money, we never pitched to anyone, and we unable to become profitable. So then he said that now I also can't come, I also got something important. So I will not be able to join, and that's so we again parted away. So from like in terms of the equity, from so he kept, because he stayed more longer time, so he kept around 11% equity. So now from 33 in terms of the equity, I reached to 99. But again, there was no one. I was alone after almost like 2.5 years of the business. Is something coming on the screen?
We are taking a live feedback.
Okay, got it. That I have learned so many things, and till that time, I was only managing the operations part. It's a agri-tech company, so I used to buy the vegetables, supply to the hotel, restaurant, recovery, sales, everything. So I got good exposure in that 2.5 years. Back to Jaipur from Mumbai, so I think cost was very low, so I survived. Then in that journey, then I also decided like I'll be getting married in next 2 3 years if things go in right direction or wrong direction. So luckily I met my current wife, and then she come from the background that she managed her one brother-in-law's tech companies India operation or something like that. Then I thought the business opportunity there also, that why not we can also become co-founders. So even after 2.5 years of journey, or almost 2 year journey, she joined as a co-founder, and then things started moving in the right direction. We raised first round of funding, second round of funding, and all those things. So that time, so many people also used to say like, you husband wife should not be the co-founders and all those things. It worked very well for us. We got this RVCF as an investor. They also focus on impact kind of business model. Then we got AWE fund. They also women founders focused fund. Some good angels like Najara founders, Servify founders, and some more like good angels from our network. And from that, today we have reached a level. And like in between, I also tried to find one more, hire one or two more founding team member, or kind of whom I can elevate as a co-founder. But someone stayed for a year or almost. Today we will be turning 8 in December. But first 4 years were like just like it was going around the finding the right partner. But then I realized I think this will be the journey. So today we are doing like good business, 150 crore, profitable, going for SME listing next financial year, and all those things. Things went in the right direction. And in last 4 years, whenever we needed money, we got the money and all those things. So there I got the exposure, and for everyone like two three things, like every founder should be from different domain, or they have some different expertise. It could be same education, but they one should understand some maybe operations, one should understand the technology part, one should understand sales, or maybe operation management, or the process oriented person. So that's why this combo of maybe some good engineer plus MBA plus finance guy plus technology, I think that works best. Very hard to build alone. You don't get that motivation also, so better to have at least like two people, or but ideal is like three. um, One another part is like, once you want to become big, one person 50% job is to just do the network, to get the right investors, right people as a partner, and all those things. So mostly time go there. Then I was advising one person, one of my investor who runs a listed company like 1,000 crore plus market cap. I was started advising him that why not you invest. And I was always good at networking, relationship building, and keeping relationship for longer term. So I got few friends, they were also doing good jobs. I advised them that why not you, to my investor, that why not you invest money in those companies. And luckily, few of the companies started doing very good. Some of them through some angel platforms. I helped him to invest in like Burger Singh, Jar, Tusker, Coffee Mug, and then a company, Vivo Slab, they are into the West Collections. Then I realized that I think the investing also we started learning, and that was also I got exposure 6 7 years back. So I decided in life that I think agri is a lifestyle business, so we'll not go more into the raising money, but we can go into the public side, and every year maybe it can grow 2 3x like that.
Okay.
Then the investing exposure was there. So then I
Yeah,
met my
just someone was saying no one is audible. Like we can hear you. Yes, Srijay,
okay.
can you hear?
Yeah, we are able to hear each other.
Yeah, we are able to hear.
Anyone in the audience, if you can hear us, you can just respond yes or something.
Could you let us know in the chat if you're able to hear? Yeah. So we're audible. I think it's a challenge with Shamal's network, I believe.
But he can hear us also now. Yes, Rajendra, you can
Oh,
finish.
perfect.
Yeah. So now how I got co-founder in the fund, that I know Sarath from last 6 7 years. We were in the same ecosystem. He was building something in that tech, and like they were good friends. Then you realize like when you are building next venture also, what kind of founder you should have. So again, I was good at building relationship. So I thought I can bring good amount of money in the fund. But Sarath was good at deployment side. Like he more into like coming from IIT Delhi, getting already active in the network of the VCs and all, and that's how we started this fund almost a year or a little bit more than that. First fund was like 20 crore pre-pool plus 30 crore top-ups, around 50 crore we are deploying from the first fund. We'll be live with a 200 crore kind of fund in next like 4-5 months. The licensing, all the legal process is in on the way. So from like building some, just like maybe two line about the fund. So in India, there are only 5-7% funds. There are like operator leads. They have seen the journey. They have built the businesses. Not like two of or three of us. It's like we have 25-30 plus LPs. Most of them are like building businesses. They valued from Jaipur, all these cities. And 50% money is from the family businesses whose next generation people are interested in investing in the companies. And there we thought when we started building warm up, we thought me and Sarath like good at that, but still we don't have that network who has the real money. Then we got Yogesh Chaudhary from Jaipurax as a partner. So we three are the founders there. He helped us to connect the right people, and that's how we bring the money in the fund also. So far invested in 10 companies. Most of them are doing really good. Almost 4-5 of them already 2-3 raised money. Next round, follow-on round, and 2-3 are in the process of raising the Series A. Happy to discuss anything specific. I think that's the journey, not so much in short, but yeah.
Okay, awesome. Pretty interesting journey. Now, do you plan to make a 20-year roadmap after all these experiences?
Yeah, so it was very clear that. So I'll tell you the funny part, like personal goal also, because sometimes what we only discuss the business and we are unable to discuss personal, and both are at the end of the day connected. That's like my thinking. So I thought started at 23 and then maybe 21 as a professional career, worked for 2 years, then started this business at almost 22 and a half years old. Then thought of doing that 2 years business, either it's good or bad. We'll get married. When I'll be turning 30, I'll be having, let's say, a good house, a good car, or maybe if you are getting married at that age, definitely kid. I also have 3.5-year-old boy. Then when you are 30, your first business should be stable, and then I want to do two things parallelly after certain point of time. Not advisable. We don't invest where someone is doing two things, but I'm not raising money in my business, so that's the reason. Like it's a kind of a lifestyle business now. So that was the reason that this is how things should be there. Now I think almost like now I'm 31, so I almost all the things I have today. So right now, still like taking a time of 1 year to just launch the next fund, and then I will decide like how should be for the next 20 years. But frankly, not decided till now.
Okay.
Good with whatever plan in the last like almost 9 years.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, everyone. It's been 2 hours. It is going online. So, because I realized that online sessions at some point in time get boring. So, this was very exciting. And this was a kickoff of this startup code. Eventually, what we want to do is we have a lot of proposed sessions. So, you choose what you're looking for, and we go deeper in that. And ideally, we want around 8-10 people for a particular session. So, if you're looking for meta ads, if you want to understand how to get listed on e-commerce marketplaces, if you want to understand VC term sheets. So very specific topics, they are listed on the page also, but you can also recommend us. We'll put it up. If other people are interested, they can just show their interest. And once we have those enough 10, 12 people, we'll make that live. So be part of it. And thank you so much, Rajendra. Thank you so much, Charu,
Thank
Divyani.
you.
This was fun. And this was an opportunity for me to speak with all the friends that I've been texting over WhatsApp to join my sessions. So nice to see and nice to interact with all of you. Yash, Shrija, any closing remarks you have? I know that Yash has a hard stop at 8:30, so you say thank you and then we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, one last closing remark apart from thank you.
No, I think this is a good session, right? So got to hear a lot of other people and their experiences as well. So I think that was really cool.
Okay, Shrija, you also say thank you.
I think thank you everyone for joining in. It has been a great session. Wonderful to have everyone over here. As a small favor that we ask is, if you like the content, definitely do share the content so we can come up with more and more topics and help more founders. And that also in turn helps us to sort of popularize this initiative. So thank you so much for being with all of us, and spending a valuable 2 hours of your life. So take care, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to see you soon in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Jatin. Thanks for having us. Bye bye.